While on Pantora, renowned bounty hunter Fennec Shand was sent on a mission to hunt down and capture the escaped medical assistant of Nala Se, an enhanced clone Omega, after she escaped Kamino and joined the Bad Batch. Fennec Shand ultimately failed in her mission to capture the young girl and was forced to report this to her superiors. But who were they? Who sent Fennec Shand to hunt down Omega? Before we dive into it, make sure you're subscribed for more awesome Star Wars lore content. So, after a pretty brutal chase through the streets of Pantora, where Fennec killed a few innocent men, and a fight in the sewers where she absolutely bodied Wrecker trying to defend his young friend, Fennec lost track of her target. This led her to menacingly walk back to her Sullustan contact in the docking ports of Pantora, making him believe that he was about to get a bullet between his eyes, but surprisingly, Fennec let the man off and even paid him, and told him to contact her if he ever sees or hears even the slightest bit of information about Clone Force 99 again in the future. A very honourable act compared to some of the stuff she was doing during the chase. After paying the Sullustan man, she then walks outside and contacts her mysterious employer, letting whoever it is know that she failed the mission, but won't be giving up. So this leaves us with one big question: who was it on the other end of the line? There is one very obvious possibility which is the most likely, but there are a few other possibilities which make a lot of sense and would connect to the other Star Wars stories being told right now. So let's break them down. The first, and the one that most of us believe, is that Nala Se, Lama Su and the Kaminoans are desperate to get Omega back for their new cloning experiments, and have gone as far as to send a bounty hunter to get her back. We already saw previously that the Kaminoans fully understand that the Jango Fett genome at this point has degraded past the point of being useful, and would definitely not be suitable to create another army with. Especially not one with the same skills and combat proficiency as the original clone army, which we know is what the Empire is looking for. The only problem with this is that the Kaminoans already let Omega go. It's pretty short-sighted when they already knew that the Empire was considering other options, and even before the war ended, there were many calls to use natural-born soldiers instead of clone troopers. We were also given so many lingering shots of the Kaminoans looking more and more upset with the Empire's decision to pursue natural-born, enlisted soldiers as part of Project Warmantle, rather than the clone soldiers that the Kaminoans provide, which is another strong pointer to them. The Kaminoans know by this point that if they can't produce a soldier far superior to the natural-born recruits that the Empire are putting on display, and even superior to the original clone army, they're quickly going to be left out of the Empire's good graces, which is a very dangerous position for them. And we can be pretty much sure that Omega is the only enhanced clone that they are interested in, because if they weren't, they would simply take a sample from Crosshair and have the whole army be incredible at aiming. But it's pretty clear that that's not going to cut it for the Kaminoans at this point. We still don't really know what Omega's enhanced power is. She could be force sensitive, which would be very interesting, but that would actually point away from the Kaminoans and more squarely at Palpatine and the Empire. Alternatively, her enhancement could be that she can easily learn any skill in a very short span of time. We see some evidence for this on the Auto Moon, where Omega immediately begins learning to track with Hunter the moment she gets the opportunity. She also performs incredibly well under pressure inside of the cave when facing down the Auto Moon Dragon. Most children her age would panic and not have the foresight to use a torch to feed the beast's hunger. Another theory for her power, and one that I'm a massive fan of, is that she has or will eventually develop all of the Bad Batch's powers. We've already seen her take some amazingly accurate shots with a blaster, she's shown the ability to track, and clearly has heightened senses. She's shown a strong fascination with technology every time she gets on the Havoc Marauder, and as for strength, I think we'll have to wait for that one, although she did literally break through the vent when the Bad Batch were thrown in the brig, and was even able to overpower Fennec's grip when she took hold of her, so there's something to think about. But either way, the Kaminoans are facing the very serious possibility of losing their cloning contract with the Empire, which is not only going to cost them very dearly in terms of credits, but it's also going to remove the crucial influence that they hold with the Empire right now. Without that influence, they really can't stay afloat, because Kamino is not even in the main galaxy. Without providing a crucial service to the Empire, there's nothing stopping Palpatine and Tarkin from crushing the Kaminoans so that they can't pose a threat in the future. And that leads us straight to a path that I think we're already going down: the Kamino Rebellion. If the Kaminoans do manage to produce a new clone army with either Omega or someone else as the template, and the Empire doesn't use them for their military, there's no chance Palpatine is going to allow them to stand. And that is the point where the Empire will invade Kamino in order to put down the new clones, bringing us straight back to the Kamino Uprising from Legends, where the Kaminoans bred anti-clones to fight the Empire. Although officially there was no rebellion on Kamino, in the eyes of the rest of the galaxy, the uprising that took place on that day was Kamino's darkest day. If the Kamino Uprising does happen with an army of new anti-clones to fight the Empire, they're almost certainly going to be fully wiped out because we don't see them and have no reference to them in any of the other Star Wars content after the time of the Bad Batch. Obviously that's because the Bad Batch was created after all of that other content, but it would still be pretty hard to brush away unless they are all killed off during the Uprising and the Empire suppresses any knowledge of it ever happening. Now following that, the next possibility is that Palpatine, or someone on his behalf, is the one who hired Fennec in order to use Omega for his cloning program. We already know, thanks to the new reference books and the other stories, that the cloning process is well underway by this point in the timeline, so it would make perfect sense. The only issue is that as far as we know, the Empire still has no idea about Omega's true potential. If Palpatine has somehow discovered that she has unique abilities, or that she is Force sensitive, then it's certain that he would want to get involved and try to use Omega for his future plans. We also know that one of the top secret projects stored at the Imperial Vault on Scarif is called Mark Omega. This could be a reference to his cloning program and his attempts at capturing Omega as part of it. Now that we've seen Project War Mantle explained by the Bad Batch, another project that was stored on Scarif, it's looking more and more likely that Mark Omega will be connected to the Bad Batch and Palpatine's cloning attempts. The way Omega spoke to Crosshair on Kamino could be a hint that she has at least some very light Force sensitivity. The same level of Force sensitivity you'd probably expect from a clone Force sensitive. She is instantly able to sense Crosshair's emotions when she says you're angry. She says, "I know what you're going to do, but please don't," demonstrating knowledge of the future like a Force sensitive, and even says, "I know it's not your fault," which could show that she's looking deep within Crosshair through the Force and discovering what he truly feels. We even had a hint that Crosshair is not really on board with the Empire's new plans after he got back to his barracks with the elite squad, but is being forced to comply because of the inhibitor chip, which would make Omega right. Although this little line from Omega could just be because she knows all about the inhibitor chips from her time as Nala Se's medical assistant. And just on that note, medical assistant is such a weird role for someone as young as Omega to have. Either there is a more dark and sinister meaning behind the title, and Omega is actually the one having cloning experiments done on her, or she possibly has some sort of healing ability, which we're yet to see, and is able to use it to help the Kaminoans. Because apart from that, there's no way a very young child like Omega would have been able to learn enough about medicine and the cloning process to take part in it. So what's the deal with that title? If she really was helping out with the medicine, then that could further back up the theory that she has an ability to learn any skill with ease in a very short amount of time. But I don't know, I just don't see it being very likely that Omega is an expert in medicine. Really, I think it's the much darker and much more mysterious option that she is the one being subject to these cloning experiments, despite already having enhancements. And for a final possibility, maybe it was just another high-ranking criminal organization who sent Fennec after Omega, like Crimson Dawn, with Dryden Voss and Maul at the helm. I'm not sure how they would have any idea who Omega is just yet, but it's possible that Maul knows a lot more than anyone expects. But really, this is easily the least likely one, because although yes, Omega would be an absolutely amazing asset for any crime lord to have in his syndicate, there's almost no way anyone knows about her yet. But either way, tell me what you think down below. Will Omega be captured and brought back to Kamino in the next few episodes, or will she end up in the dark clutches of Emperor Palpatine? And we know that whatever happens is going to be pretty heartbreaking, because the composer for Star Wars The Bad Batch, Kevin Kiner, even said that he couldn't hold back tears for the finale, so we'll just have to wait and see if he's talking about Omega. At this point, it's between something bad happening to her, or something happening to Crosshair. Thanks so much for watching, really hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.